We are back from the break, still hanging out with Taylor and YoonA. I want to take this time now to kind of dive into your story a little bit, because you were always a little bit of an enigma for me. Like, I saw you on social media, you're really active there, but I didn't know like where you came from. Like, you just kind of showed up.
Right.
So why don't you talk to me a little bit about your background in competitive gaming and things like that?
Background competitive, I always like played a bunch of League. Like I started in high school and just played too much League, grade drop, stuff like that. Then I decided to join like random NACS teams, stuff like that. And most of like why I got known was I just like started to get like, I guess my social media honestly was like a big part of it. Like people always saw me talk to other people, and one day I landed a job as a sub for CLG, and boom.
So talk to me a little bit about being a sub, because a lot of teams just sign random people who have like no intention of ever doing anything with the team. Like, because there's the pro team who you sign, then there's the challenger team, and your sub can't be a challenger player, and then there's the subs who are often just like randos. So are you a rando, or do you actually like do stuff with the organization?
Are you asking if he's actually good at the game?
Well, yeah, like what's your rating and things like that?
I'm slightly good at the game. Last year I ended ranked 69 in Challenger, so
Nice.
pretty okay.
Did you aim for 69, or is that like?
It's all luck, baby.
Yeah, okay, I don't know if I believe that.
Yeah, so I thought I was gonna be the same thing, honestly, as a sub, like just a rando, some guy who's like an orc, just like looks at the Challenger ladder, throws a dart, and be like, that one.
Yeah.
But CLG came to me and specifically was like, we want you, we think you're cool, and I'm like, all right, sweet. And so as a sub, I went with the other sub, which is Fragnatic. We went every Tuesday and watched all the CLG scrims, and we did some like analytical work. And then we were always invited to do like other stuff with the team, like team exercises, stuff like that. And I was the sub who was chosen to go with them to MSI and Worlds.
So you were actually much more involved than the average sub who's just kind of a name. You did things with the team and helped with them. Is that something you want to keep doing, or is that just like, you know, do you want to join a challenger team and eventually make your way into the LCS? Because, I mean, you're obviously pretty skilled, right? And especially if CLG's using you.
Yeah, I think that was like the big question that I've been like confused about recently, because CLG actually offered me to try out for their NACS team, and it's like a big experience going with them every single LCS weekend, watching them play. Like, even though I don't play, like every time we lose, I'm just like super sad. Every time we win, I'm happy, stuff like that. But at the end of the day, I've like come to the decision that I'd rather do more like a comedic side of League rather than trying to go like super pro and stuff. I've been working with Scar and Pokimane, and we've doing like a lot of content with each other.
So kind of getting into that, how did you meet up with Skara? And you're his roommate now. I hope I'm okay sharing that.
Yeah.
I think it's pretty known. So like, how did you guys meet up, become friends, and eventually end up living together?
I was actually just like a big fan of his stream. I would watch his stream every day from like beginning to end.
Creep!
One day, we were at the same LP, so I asked him to do it. We just kept doing, and like after a shit ton of harassment, we just we decided to become roommates.
That's a crazy story. I think that's like way too many people's fantasy, where it's like, yeah, and then I dueled with Bjergsen,
Yeah.
and then we became best friends.
Oh, no.
You live in the fantasy,
You
man.
basically slash fiction your way into Scar's apartment.
Yeah. So kind of going off that, you said you're doing a lot of content now. There was that skit that was kind of really well received by the community. It was like an ad for something, and you were kind of the brain behind it. So that's something you want to keep pursuing, right?
Yeah, it was a lot of fun. It was like a first time for me too. I became like the writer, director, the cameraman, and it was a lot of confusing stuff. But I think it was great because at the essence of it, it's like an ad, right? So I feel like a lot of ads are like not taken very well by the community. They're usually like sellout, stuff like that. But it like hit #1 on the League subreddit, and people seem to love it.
So, I mean, when I talk to Skara about you, he has really high praise. He's like, oh my God, YoonA's mind is just like all about memes and like that's kind of how you blew up on social media and stuff. Is it something that really comes natural to you, or was it like, did you try to be funny?
I think it's like legit. I just intake all of this. I'm always like watching social media. I'm always on Twitter, Facebook, Reddit, and just you intake it all, and then it's like, this is what people like, this is what people don't like.
So you just eventually becomes like second nature to you. You just start thinking in memes. 'Cause
Yeah.
that's what he says. Like you just like literally see something and think how it can be funny.
It's just like a sixth sense to it.
So on the subject of making memes, we wanted to highlight a couple of your best ones, and you can share your thoughts on kind of how they went. So let's take a look at the first one that we have here. It's a penguin one.
Oh yeah, I remember this one. I don't know if anyone remembers this, but there was this like big thing all over like Twitter and Reddit where like this penguin gets dumped by this penguin comes home to his wife penguin with another man and they just fight. So I had a penguin costume from Halloween and some ketchup, and my roommate had some Jack Daniels. So we're like, all right, let's do it.
Okay, explain the ketchup to me.
The ketchup?
Why is there ketchup on your?
Because he
he's
got
bloody.
in a fight with.
Oh, I get it.
Have you seen the video?
I haven't seen the video.
You ever see the video?
I'm really bad at internet.
All right. Speaking of ketchup, that's kind of like a theme in some of yours. So let's take a look at the next one involving some ketchup. Well, break me through the whole story because this is like the end of it. So like, what is this?
All right. So basically, I was talking to my friend. Her name's Annika, and we were just talking, and then I don't know why, but it just like hit me. I was like, I just looked at like the ketchup and the eggs, and I was like, I think I know what I want to do with this. It was completely random. So legit, I just cooked a bunch of eggs. Crap, it looked awful, but
Yeah, but there's like a whole story to it where it's like, you know, you're like, hey, I'm gonna cook some breakfast, and she's like, oh, that sounds great. Like,
Yeah.
show me what it looks like.
she was like, she said she was hungry, right? So I was like, I'm just gonna show her me cooking eggs, and then it just led on to the super ketchup thing.
Did she find it funny too, or was this kind of like, what the?
Yeah, she found it hilarious.
Okay, because that blew up. A lot of people were like, oh, damn.
Yeah.
So the last one I think is my personal favorite of yours that I've seen, and it's something that speaks to everyone. It's a very basic human emotion, so we can take a look at that.
Oh yeah.
I love this one. It's like tells a story through picture.
Me, Scar and I and Frag and his girlfriend, we went to some like random board game place, and they were just holding hands. They like always hold hands whenever
Well, I mean,
they're on
they're
this.
dating.
They're dating, but they're whatever, right? So I legit just looked at them and I was like, I turned to Scar and I was like, Scar, why don't we ever hold hands? And I was like, wait, let's just put this in like a picture format and see if people like it or not.
Yeah, that one blew up too. That was the first one I was like, damn, this guy's funny. It's like, do you ever put out a dud? It's like a lot of these are like hilarious, but like when you put out a dud, if you ever do, what's it like? Do you delete it? Do you like freak out?
I feel like when you put out a dud, it just like it won't gain enough likes in a certain amount of time. Like within like 5 minutes, it usually gets like a certain amount of likes. But if it doesn't reach that, it's just like a dud. And if you don't delete it fast enough, people are gonna just call you out instantly.
Don't you worry about the whole nothing can be deleted from the internet, where like someone's gonna screenshot it and just.
And once you reach like a certain threshold of followers too, it's like once you post it, people have it screenshotted.
It's also, you realize that all of your memes are now in the Smithsonian, right? Because they're
Yeah.
recording all the tweets.
Yeah, they put this all like, you know how there's aliens? They're gonna put it all
Yeah.
in a disc and send it to like random aliens. Pretty sure.
It's gonna be great.
Yeah.
Well, you just asked for nudes from aliens. So since you've been on the Yahoo campus, have you come up with any memes while walking around? You know, we took you to lunch, we showed you a lot of the studios. Did you have anything?
I came up with one while we were at the like waiting room, right? I put it on my Snapchat, and yeah, I think it's pretty funny.
Is this? I heard you got in trouble sometimes with stuff like this. Like CLG has sometimes come after you, be like, dude, you're too out of control.
I've already got in trouble twice with 2 drug-related jokes. I'm glad Yahoo's not mad at me. They legit, COG came to me and was like, we want you to be yourself, but
You gotta tone it down.
you gotta tone it down, no drugs. And then Everyday Influencers, which is Scars and Pokey's managing brand, they also were like, that drug joke with Pokey, you gotta take that down, man.
I am sorry to break it to you though. That joke too far. We gotta ask you to leave.
Oh, okay.
Damn, the bad boy getting
Out.
kicked out. Thank you for joining us, Orlando YoonA. Thank you for coming in.
Thank
You have fun?
It was a lot of fun. I'd love to do something like this again.